everyone, welcome to the last video for exam 3, answering the question 3 for exam 3. And for this one, we're going to be, looking at my notes, describing the 3 tiers of vocabulary words students need to learn. So I feel like 3 tiers is always the magic number. Like there's 3 tiers in MTSS. There's apparently 3 tiers of vocab. So here's the first tier. The first tier I think everybody already knows. If you don't know, I'm so sorry. But tier 1 is your common words, such as dog, cereal, book, words that you basically are going to be saying every day for the rest of your life. These are words that you should know, you should already know. These could even be like sight words as well. These are words that they just come up in conversation. You use them every day and without even thinking. So these words are common in oral language. So these are the words that you're going to be hearing and speaking and saying every day for the rest of your life. Tier 2. Tier 2 is your more sophisticated words. They're not as common. They're uncommon, actually. And they could be words like commotion, philosopher. These are words that you're not really going to be bringing up. And these are the words that you need to teach with direct instruction. So these are the kind of words that maybe you're doing like a class reading where you guys are all reading one book together at the same time, and your teachers might have done this sometime in their lives, but they'll be pointing out different vocab words that you're like, hey, this is an unfamiliar word that we don't really hear a lot. What can you tell me about this word? What do you know about this word? You're using like context clues and decoding them to figure out what the meaning of that word is. So these are definitely like your harder words. I like to think of it as like almost SAT words, but probably not for elementary school kids, but definitely probably for your high school kids. These would be like the SAT, ACT words that nobody ever uses them anymore. Perhaps even then I feel like that might be an extreme case. But yeah, these are the words that you would probably have your students use that Frayer model that we talked about in the last video. And having them find a definition, characteristics, and then obviously you are going to be discussing and using and helping them use context clues to decode what the meaning of that word is. But yeah, that's kind of what tier 2 is. Teach with direct instruction. They're more sophisticated words. Yeah, and that's kind of it for that one. Tier 3. Tier 3 is domain specific. And what it means by domain specific, we can also change the word domain to subject specific. So for example, these are going to be your words like numerator, denominator, filibuster, government, judicial branch, Senate. Sorry, I know I'm using a lot of history words. History was like my best subject in high school. Science words such as like epidermis, artery, stuff like that. So it's very content specific. These are subject specific. These are the words that when you're filling out a lesson plan, you're probably going to be using for that unit. I like to consider them like the you're not reading them words per se, or how can I put it? No, what's the better way? These are the words that you have to teach in the subject that you're teaching. So you'll probably see these more like in math. You're going to be talking about like numerator, denominator, or functions. History, maybe you're going to be talking about the different branches of government. There's judicial, executive, all that fun stuff. And then, yeah, those are the ones where in your lesson plans, they're like, okay, you have to have specific vocabulary words that you're going to be focusing on. reading just like a book, that I think that's what's the hard part, not just for me, but for some people when trying to differentiate between tier 2 and tier 3. Tier 2 is the words that you're not really using most of the time. That's why I think of it as like ACT, SAT words, because those are definitely words like I'll probably never be using again. Whereas tier 3 is domain specific. So these are the words that, hey, I recognize because my teacher keeps mentioning it in math or in history or in science or in language arts. So yeah, so language arts also has domain specific words too, not just sophisticated words that you're going to be reading in the classroom book, but there's definitely domain specific, like your grammar, like what's the use of a comma, complex sentences, conjunctions. Those are domain specific words versus tier 2 where these are sophisticated words that you don't really use in everyday conversation. So just to kind of recap, tier 1 is all your common words, the ones that you use every day. Tier 2 is the words that you don't really talk about. They're uncommon. Think of it as like SAT, ACT words. Those are the words that nobody can ever figure out, and they're just really difficult to decode on a test or an exam. And you need to use like the Frayer model to differentiate those words. And then tier 3 is domain specific. So these are the words that you might already know or you recognize, but they only come up in one subject, such as like science, math, grammar, history. Those are the only times you ever see those words. So these are the 3 tiers of vocab. Hopefully this was informational, and hopefully I gave you a good or great idea of what these tiers look like. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and that is the end of this video. Hopefully I answered every question and answered it correctly. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.